Today, Iowa residents came together for a town hall asking what they can do about 3 proposed CO2 pipelines. Each will go through dozens of counties. Bella Caracta joins us with why some of the residents say they're concerned.
Pipeline construction can permanently damage the land, terraces, drainage systems, and more.
In Iowa, 3 companies want to build CO2 pipelines that would take emissions from ethanol plants, turn it to liquid, and sequester it underground. They say it would help lower ethanol's carbon footprint as President Joe Biden pushes the fuel industry to reduce harmful emissions that contribute to climate change. Sue Miller is part of the Pottawatomie County Board of Supervisors. She attended the town hall, taking careful notes of the presentation and questions.
This is just a great example of ever-changing times, and we need to be progressive and understand how we can work that balance between economic development and our farming agriculture.
People raise concerns over a possible pipeline rupture, which happened 3 years ago in Mississippi, sending nearly 50 people to the hospital.
I'm the only rural physician in our county, and I have real concerns about how we would respond to injury with rupture.
How would smaller counties afford and the training necessary to deal with a rupture? And they would be the first people to come across these scenes, and how are they going to handle that?
In the town hall, action items for residents included calling on local officials to enact ordinances to protect landowners from pipelines. Sue Miller took note.
This is just a great example of ever-changing times, and we need to be progressive and understand how we can work that balance between economic development and our farming agriculture.
On your side in Oakland, Bella Caracta, 6 News.
An anti-pipeline bill, HF 565, is currently in the Iowa legislature. However, the deadline to advance it out of the Commerce Committee is quickly approaching. That date is by March 31st.